Welcome back to the X Lounge. This is the beginning of yet another project. I try to run two modeling projects at once because while one is drying or curing, I can work on the other. So, the other project I'm working on now has a large amount of milliput that is being cured by Mother Nature as we speak. And so I have brought out this second kit. It's the same kit as the 2257 Chevy, an AMT kit. And this one I'm not going to chop it up too much. It was partially started. As you can see, there is paint on the chassis. Everything is still wet because I had it soaking in brake fluid, and of course, as you may know, once you remove it out of the brake fluid, you can scrub it off with soap and water and remove all the brake fluid. So it is a process that I really don't like because I can't stand the smell of brake fluid. And I don't like the feel of it until I get it washed off. It makes your fingers feel like they're not, I can't describe it. It's like they're chalky and greasy all at the same time. So as you can see, this kit had been started before, and I really should not, excuse me a moment, I need my tweezers. I kind of swore myself off of rebuilding kits. However, just for this very reason, I don't really care for this process. This kit was a partial. They had done, the previous owner had mounted the engine and some parts of the suspension, used 400 pounds of glue. There is a big hunk right there. May or may never come off. I don't know. So this has there are two problems with this chassis. I'm going to talk about it first because it's the main reason that I'm heading in the direction that I'm heading. There are two parts wrong with it. Problem one is there's a large amount of glue on there. No big deal. I could probably pop that off if I wanted to, or stick it in the freezer for a while. Problem number two is it's got paint all over it. Not that big a deal because it's a chassis. I don't, I'm not one for super detail in the bottoms. Anyhow, and that amount of paint would actually look cool, I think, because it'd be covered up and it would just look like a layer of crud or whatever. The main problem I've got with this is the same thing I had with the other kit. This stinking exhaust is molded in, and that drives me nuts. I can't stand it. So, most likely this piece is going to go away and never to be seen again. And I'm going to replace that with the chassis from a NASCAR kit. Am I going to use the NASCAR interior? Maybe so. Maybe so. But I also, of course, have the kit interior. Does that fit on there? Almost. I mean, probably not. I'd have to cut away a lot of that. No, I don't think that's necessary. This fits on there fairly well. I do need to remove some portions there. Of course, the same on the other side. And it looks like I'll have to maybe add in a plate to cover up that gap. No big deal there. Most likely all of this would come out, and I would use simply all the NASCAR guts. I would build up the NASCAR and then this on top of it. So that's the plan for this one. The engine that I'm going to use, I don't know. There are a couple of these reclaimed engines. I'm probably not going to use the original. that might not ever get used for anything. I don't know. This one is a giant, I don't know, maybe this was in a funny car or something, or one of those long pointy nose dragsters. I don't know, that's a big engine. So it might go in there. I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I basically wanted to introduce it now before I get too far along on it, because once you start building, the opportunity to make a video of that process is gone. So I think what I'm going to do next is file away on this portion, see how that fits in there, and then start cutting that away. I'm just going to cut away enough now to get that to fit in there. I actually may need some, oh no, I'm going to leave that portion probably. But I'm going to cut away enough so this fits in there, and then later on I can determine what needs to go totally to get all of the NASCAR stuff in there. I don't know what this will be called, maybe a pro street car. I am not that familiar enough to know what that would be called. In the meantime, I will come back once that's in there, and maybe I'll have some more thoughts at that time. Oh, also this is like one of those food trays, you know, you get at the food cart at the food court in the mall, or perhaps when you're in prison. Anyhow, I've got several of these, and they make wonderful little project trays. I actually have a rack that holds about 10 of these, and what the benefit of it is, you've got all your parts on there. You just slide that away into the rack, or if you don't have a rack, you just set it up out of the way, and when you bring it back later, all your parts are there. You don't have to gather them all up, put them in a bag, and put them somewhere, and then forget about it until 6 months later you realize, oh, there's that project I abandoned. No, you don't have to do that because you've got it all on this tray. Okay,